Thanks for being with us tonight. Good to see you. Now, George Orwell describes serious sport as war minus the shooting. And this week we've seen Formula One at war, with Crashgate being called by some, probably rightly, the worst act of cheating in the history of sport. But it's not just our sportsmen and our politicians. A new survey of attitudes towards dishonesty revealed that we're a nation of shameless cheats, happy to make fraudulent insurance claims and plagiarise internet articles if and when the opportunity arises. Well, where else would we get the idea for these scripts? Anyway, it's time, is it, to hang our head in shame? This week, we put cheating in the spotlight. If honesty is the best policy, it's an extraordinary event when an employee is asked to crash their car into a wall at 100 miles per hour. Renault got a slap on the wrist this week for one of the worst ever examples of cheating in sport.
Certainly, if Piquet's crash was deliberate, it was cheating at its most reckless.
Speaking of reckless, who knew rugby wasn't brutal enough? The Harlequins' Tom Williams stained the sport's reputation after his physio made a trip to the joke store. Williams chomped on a fake blood capsule mid-game. Now they're eating humble pie. With questions over Caster Semenya competing in the women's athletics, the authorities apologised for denying all knowledge of her gender tests. They justified the deceptions.
I believed at that time that my consistent denial would help to protect. That's what I believed.
And then performer Darren Brown. He revealed how to win the lottery and left us feeling cheated after telling us it was all down to the wisdom of crowds. So, are we increasingly a nation of cheats? And can it ever be a harmless bit of fun? Cheating, cheating, cheating. We're joined by Uri Geller. Welcome to This Week.
Thank you.
You think cheating's on the rise, don't you?
You know, Andrew, it seems to be on the rise because evidence is more accessible. 30 years ago, 40 years ago, there were no computers. There was no internet. There was no Google. There was no YouTube. And we notice the cheaters today, and quickly. And, you know, on click of a button, it's all around the world in an instant.
So do you think it's always been going on, but it's just easier to do and it's easier for us to find out?
Absolutely. Now, when
mind you, the rugby thing,
yeah, but
is
that's disgraceful.
Crashing a car is
disgraceful, unacceptable, unforgivable in sports, because we're talking about hundreds of millions of pounds involved in the sports industry. We are seeing world-class and world-famous footballers cheat. Hundreds of thousands, if not millions of children watch them. They are their role models.
Is that why
that's bad.
Is that why some cheating is worse than other cheating? Other degrees of cheating?
Very much so. You just showed a clip of Darren Brown. That's completely different.
Well, that's
show. It's entertainment. It's show business. Come on. So you cannot compare a Darren Brown or a Copperfield. You know, Copperfield dematerializing the Statue of Liberty
to a rugby player trying to make out these...
or to a Formula One race. What you're saying really is, hang on. Then Spider-Man, when we watch these big movies coming out of Hollywood, Spider-Man can climb walls or Superman can fly. Are we deceiving the people?
So what you do is not cheating?
It's entertainment. I'm an entertainer. And we didn't really come here to argue about whether my powers or my abilities or my skills are real or not. I've been dogged with controversy throughout my life.
Oh, it's good for you.
It's great. You know, 100 years ago, Oscar Wilde said there's only one worse thing than being talked about, and that's not being talked about. So controversy is good for entertainment.
Diane, is cheating on the increase, do you think?
I think it probably is on the increase in sport because there's so much more money in sport.
Yes, it's more worthwhile to cheat now.
It's more worthwhile.
And there is more sport. I mean, you've got all these cricket matches now, and politicians have got the knack of it as well, haven't they?
Amateur sportsmen, you know, that whole Victorian thing, play the game. That's all gone. It's all about money, and it's all about winning, and people cheat.
And politicians are associated with cheating now. Or were they just Did they think on the MP's expenses that they were cheating or they were just playing the system?
Oh, I think they thought they were playing the system. I mean, but, you know, by and large. I mean,
Even though to us, to the rest of us, it looked like they were cheating, in some cases.
Yeah, no, I think in the case of the MPs, they pushed the system and the system pushed them. I mean, there was a cycle of corrupting as MPs tried to make the system more and more generous to themselves, and then the people who are administering the system said to the MPs, well, look, this is what you're entitled to and you ought to be claiming for it. But what I was very shocked today, did I not hear that senior figures in Formula One said that the life ban on this driver was excessive? I mean,
yes.
To me, I don't understand how you can say that somebody who's been caught cheating shouldn't be banned for life. I mean,
In a way that risks life.
How do you protect a sport against cheating unless you have the severest penalty?
Yes, and this is
lack
why,
of sanction.
But for instance, in football, in tennis, you've got the cameras now. You know if a ball is out. The same should be in football, and of course in Formula One. But having said that, come on, cheating goes back, you know, throughout history. I mean, look, talk about entertainment. You know, I was sitting in the green room when you introduced me, and you said, and here is Uri Geller, and I watched myself standing on the television. Will you call that cheating? No, it's entertainment.
But there are some serious cheating that does go on, not in the not entertainment, but real cheating.
Yeah.
And it may be encouraged because either people get away with it, or even if they're found out, they don't seem to suffer much sanction anymore.
Well, that's bad, and we're talking now legal, you know, legalities of and degrees of cheating.
But a lot of people think now everyone does it, whether it's a rugby player or Formula One. And once people believe that everybody does it,
then they do it.
Yeah, and I think that's...
And that's where the study comes about fiddling insurance forms and all the rest of it.
There is also the pressure. We are under tremendous financial pressures, the financial crisis, which drives people probably to financially cheat. I mean, look at this Madoff fiasco. For so many years, the world was warned, but we turned away, a blind eye.
But these cheats are not people who are cheating because they're on the breadline. You know, they're worried about how they're going to feed their children. These are people who have millions and want many more millions.
That's a cheating that is motivated by greed, and they just want more and more. So, will we ever become a less cheating nation, do you think, or is it just part of our life now?
I think that gradually it won't ebb away totally, but it will diminish because of the day and age that we live in, the age of internet. It's unbelievable when I do a show. Here is a great example, quickly. I was accused of putting a magnet on my thumb when I moved the compass. And of course I didn't. But because the light was shining on my thumb, people said, oh, Uri Geller cheated. And that was on YouTube, worldwide, in a few seconds. And it was so hard to combat.
I believe cheating's ended. And Diane stops trying to look at the answers when we have a quiz.
Ah, yes.
But she does.
Very good point.
She knows about cheating. I just thought I'd bring that up for the sake of honesty. Uri Geller, thanks for being on the show. That's your lot for tonight, folks.